Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. Today I don't want to get salty, but I may, so fair warning. But I want to talk to you guys about something that has been on my mind a lot lately because of something that I'm planning for. Well, it's going to definitely happen in 2025, but it might happen as early as 2020, the end part of 2024. But I can't tell you about it just yet, okay? But what I want to do is I want to talk about what the basic toolkit for guitar setup, guitar repair, like if you want to go into the guitar, you want to go to work at Flipside Music, the great American guitar store, or a shop in your area, something like that. So this is not the tools that you need to build a guitar. The basic list of tools that you need to build a guitar is considerably bigger. But let's say you want to just invest some money into something good, and you want to start doing like setups or nut swaps or fret leveling and dressing, stuff like that. Here's what I think you are going to need to do that. And this is not a complete list, but it's good because it's everything that we have here at the shop that we let the participants in our workshops, the students, if you will, in the classes use while they're here. And a lot of the stuff is courtesy of my good friends at Stuart McDonald. Now, point of order. Yes, I am a shill for Stu Mac. I'm going to go out and say it right now. But I have been shilling for Stu Mac since before they started paying me to do so. Okay, so a lot of the tools that you're going to see, I had to buy myself, times more than 6, because we've got a bunch of these toolboxes. Okay, but a lot of the tools I did get from Stu Mac because I'm helping them sell more tools, etc. Okay, now I'm going to leave some links in the description below for you guys to go to Stu Mac. You can actually go to the one that says Texas Toast. You can skip this whole video if you want. You just go to the Stu Mac website. There's a Texas Toast tool list. Now it doesn't cost you any more to use my link, but I get a little taste of every tool that you buy. Okay, they don't just send me a check for $50,000 every month, like some of you guys must think. But every time I sell a tool, I get a little taste, okay? And I gotta tell you guys, I was doing this way before Stu Mac paid me to do so. Some of you guys who've been following me for a long time know that has been the case, okay? So, I'm not gonna show you anything from Amazon or any stuff like that. I'm gonna show you all stuff from Stuart McDonald. Now, the wise person is probably going to go, well, I don't need to go to Stu Mac to buy a screwdriver set. Well, yeah, you probably don't. But I'm going to show you the easy way, okay? After you watch this video, you can stand on your head and do it any way you want. I'm going to show you the easy way, okay? Now, I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers because I'm going to show you some tools that I think you need. And there's going to be some people who say things like, I just got a snarky comment on an old video. How dare you threaten, or not threaten, how dare you say that I'm an idiot if I don't use this tool? If someone came into my house, I'd shut them up real fast if they said that. Well, frankly, I didn't come into your house. You came into my house. This is my video, is what I think. And if you don't think so, I don't care. We can still be friends and we can disagree. But I didn't come into your house. You found me and you came into my house. So I'm going to tell you what I think, right? So anyway, let's just jump right in. So let's save that one for later. So let's talk a little bit about what you get in the toolbox here at Stu Mac when you come to one of the workshops. Okay, now a couple of the things that I think you absolutely positively got to have if you want to do this, and that's these nut slot files. Now you'll see every one of the toolboxes that we have here has 3 of them. That's because they're all different sizes. This one, so the most common sizes for doing guitar stuff. This one does 12 to 20. This one does 26 to 32. This one does 36 to 42. So if you're using a guitar that's got 9s on it, you're covered. If you decide that you want to step up to a guitar that has 10s, you might need to buy the file with the 50, okay? But you got to have some nut files. If you're going to have some nut files, you're going to need this nut slot, what do they call it? String space ruler. Now this is neat because it kind of accounts for the thickness of the string and it offsets it. So if you don't know how this works, You put this on here on your nut, and you kind of slide it around. And we've done videos on it before. And if you notice, there's like a high line and a low line, a high line and a low line, high line and a low line. The easiest way to demonstrate or explain how to use this is put the end of your nut and the end of your nut on two of these marks here. Okay, make sure they're both either high or low. Once you get so let's say you have like a nut that's this wide, and you put your ruler on it, and it's on the edge of the nut, and you've got one side is the E string side is E, and the other E string side E, and they're both on the high side of the file. It's going to make more sense when you actually get it. Then go to the low side and mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 using all the low side numbers. Okay, boom, there you go. It'll lay out your nut exactly perfectly every time. Now, you still got to cut them, so laying it out is one thing, cutting them is another. So this is a skill that must be mastered. Let's see. Here is something that I absolutely positively think that everybody who wants to do this should have, and that is one of these Z files from Stu Mac. It is a specifically designed fret file that I have been a fan of ever since I bought the first one a decade ago. And I've got these are all over the shop. I love these. They make some without a handle. If you don't have to use the handle one, if you want to use the handle, fine. If you want to get the one that doesn't have the handle, those guys work great too. The nice thing about these is it is nigh on impossible to touch the top of the fret that you just leveled. So because this cuts in a Z pattern, not in a concave pattern. So if you use the classic, concave file, it's possible to keep going and go lower than what you just leveled. So you don't want to take all the time that you spent leveling and then cob up your frets by going too deep on some patches. The Z file, whether the Safe Edge, the original, the V, any of those, they all work great. Get some of these and you will not be disappointed, okay? The other thing that I think you gotta have is some nippers like this for frets. You're probably not gonna need these unless you start swapping frets out, okay? But you're gonna want some fret nippers. These are good for cutting frets before installing, cutting the ends off after you've installed them. And you're also going to want a set of these fret Tang nippers. And what these do is just cut the Tang off. So if you're doing a guitar with binding and you need to have the fret go over the binding, but not the Tang go through the binding, you just trim just a little bit off of the end. The other cool thing about this, let's say you're doing a neck that doesn't have binding, but you don't want anything poking out. You can undercut the ends of the frets and then backfill with like some kind of putty that matches the end of the fretboard. I also recommend these little guys here, these little tiny nippers. These aren't from Stu Mac, so see, I'm not going to give you guys everything from Stu Mac, but these are from my good buddies, John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars. Get some of these. It's always good to have this kind of stuff. Even for just cutting little things, you're just going to want to have some nippers like this. The reason I say don't buy these and do everything with them is you keep them good, okay? Don't go cutting stainless steel with these. You want to use the right tool for the job, okay? There we go. Let's use the right tool for the job. So these are really only for using on frets. They're faced on the end, so you can get really close. And I really like them. You can use them on stainless steel. Same with these fret Tang nippers. The Stu Mac sells some other kind too, and they're okay, but they're not rated for stainless. If you want to buy it one time, get the one that's good for stainless, okay? Another thing that you are absolutely positively going to have, whether you like it or not, is this fret rocker. Now, this is one of the greatest guitar setup tools ever invented. What this does is it spans 3 frets. That's why, so like you have a long side here and then a slightly shorter and then slightly shorter and slightly shorter. As you move down the neck, you guys probably know how to work these. But get one of these and get a good one. The Amazon ones, chug dick, okay? Just get the good one and you will not be disappointed. These aren't exactly very expensive. But you can tell if you have any high frets just by using this guy here, okay? Let's see, you're gonna need a string winder for obvious reasons. I like this one from Stu Mac because you can pull it apart and put this end in a drill. You can actually take this out and put this in a drill, and it's a pretty cool way to put strings on a guitar. So yeah, you should have a string winder, or at least one of them. controversial tool here, the string, what is this? The string action gauge. If you have eyes as old as mine, you might not be able to read the string action gauge particularly effectively, but there's a bunch of measurements on here. You can put this on your frets and measure the distance from the bottom of your string to the top of your fret if you can see. If you can't see, I'm going to advise that you pick up one of these. This, point of order. My good buddy Doc Siltonen got me a bunch of these for the shop. So I didn't buy these, and StewMac didn't buy these, but StewMac sells these. Guys, these are really cool. More than just making you look like Leo Fender, which is totally awesome. If you have eyes as old as mine, just being able to, get down and get into stuff and actually see things, picking up this string action ruler and actually getting it on there and seeing stuff, it's a good thing. And if, like I said, even if you have excellent vision, your ability to see things up close in fine detail might be not quite what you think it is. Okay. We've got some other stuff in here. Here's just a basic centering ruler from StewMac. I really like these because they're good rulers to have, and they do centering, and they're very affordable, and just get you some of this stuff and have it around. Keep it in a toolbox like this. All right, we're getting down to some other non-StewMac tools, but one of the tools. If you don't have one of these, run as fast as you can and get one. Actually, you just buy it off the computer. Just the link in the description below. Buy one of these. This is a fret end dressing file. I'm not 100% sure what let me see if it says on here what it actually is. This is a Stuart McDonald 1175. It doesn't say what they call it, but I think it's a fret end dressing file. This is what you will use to make sure your frets don't gouge you in when you're playing. So I spend a lot of time making sure that our frets are nice and smooth on the edge, so that if Philip McKnight walks into my shop with a pair of pantyhose, he can run his the stockings up and down the frets of any of my guitars, and they all play, and none of them have any snags. So that is the file that you will use. Okay, super excellent. Get one right now if you don't have one. Now, speaking of getting one right now if you don't have one, I cannot stress enough that the reason that I'm such a big fan of the StewMac tools is because they have a lifetime warranty. So if you buy these and you break them or they wear out, you send them to StewMac, they send you another one. You can't do that anywhere else. Okay. One, you get an excellent tool. Two, it's a one-time investment. Okay, it's provided you don't lose these. It's a one-time investment. All right. So put them in a toolbox and don't lose them. And if you wear them out, they'll send you a new one. Okay. I don't know any way to say that any differently so you guys actually get it. This is the good stuff. Buy the good stuff, and you won't be disappointed. If you have any issues with it, you're gonna get free tools later on. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go through the rest of the StewMac stuff before I start showing you guys the things that I think you need to get that's not StewMac. One is one of these fretting hammers. Not because I suggest that you do fretting with a hammer, but these little guys work great, and having a fretting hammer is a good thing. Now, you certainly can do frets with them. It's a practiced skill. It is a skill that is learned. You don't just start bashing on frets. But having a hammer, for some little tiny stuff is a good thing. Now, these are cool because it has a plastic side that is replaceable. See, you can put a new plastic side in. And there's a brass side that does the same thing. So if you don't want to have a brass side, on any side, you can get two plastic sides. But if you want two brass sides, you can do that too. Okay. This neck cradle is absolutely positively worth its weight in gold, and it fits in the toolbox. The idea here is you put the guitar neck in here, and it rests. And if you're bashing on it, it won't break stuff. Okay, cool. All right, now I got to keep these separate because we just did a toolbox inventory for the workshop that starts on Monday, and I want to make sure that everyone's toolbox looks the same. I've told you guys this 100 million times. If I haven't, I've told you 900,999 times. These little StewMac screwdriver kits are super, super cool. You should have one of these in your toolbox, and just go ahead and buy a couple of them, okay? There's every little tiny part in here for bridges and little tiny screws and things like that. There's little starters so you can like thread it into wood and get screws started. There's little cleaning stuff. It comes with a cool handle. It comes with an extra like extension piece you can put in a drill, and you can use it to speed up everything. But get one of these. You should have a couple of these. Every one of your gig bags should have one of these, but your toolbox should definitely have one. What else we got here? A nut vise. If you're going to start doing nuts, like I said, you gotta have some nut files. You gotta have a string space ruler, and having one of these nut vices, for the money that these are, this is just a regular vise that StewMac kind of hot rodded. Okay, so don't give me that nonsense about, oh, that's just a vise you can get on Amazon. Yeah, the vise part is, but I'm getting to the part that you should just buy it from StewMac and save yourself some headache. So the nut, you can hold the nut or any other thing that you're working on, saddle, something like that, hold it in here, and you can start manipulating this. You can't just do it by your hand and then start filing. I mean, somebody's going to say they can, but they're lying. Okay, so nut vise, the cool part about this is see how high these little extension pieces are here. This is good because you can start filing down. You know what I mean? You just got more. You got more ability to work with the guitar specific stuff. Okay. The Stuart McDonald set of calipers. Now, you're probably going to go, "What's the big deal? Caliper is a caliper." Yeah, maybe, but these are handy because, like a lot of other sets of calipers, they'll do decimal, they'll do fraction, and they'll do metric. So for everybody who's constantly asking me, what's 3/8 mean? I just do millimeter, for crying out loud. If you have these, you can convert very, very easily. The other neat thing that it does is that you can measure the tang of the fret. There's a little slot on the on this jaw here. There is also a way to measure the height of the fret because there's a little notch cut out of the back. So you kind of put that, and you gotta hold your mouth just right and then go up and press it on the fret. And you can tell just how high your fret is. That's handy because, as you know, let's say you're doing a partial refret. First you gotta figure out what the fret size is that you're using, and then match accordingly, okay? Oh, you know what? I already know I missed one here. But actually, hold on. I gotta run grab something real quick. Okay, a fret slot depth gauge. This little guy right here is one of those things, but like I said, if you're doing a partial refret or a full refret, making sure that your nut slot is deep enough is where this little gauge comes in handy. I don't put these in the toolboxes here for the workshops because we don't need them for that. But we're not doing, you know what I mean? I know all the slots that we're using for that. That stuff are good, okay? All right, a couple more StewMac specific tools, and then I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I think you should just have because it's a good idea, okay? All right, a notched straight edge. If you're just doing guitars, you can get away with this one. If you're doing basses too, you're going to want to get the bigger one. These come in lots of different scale lengths. The thing that you want to be able to do is you want to be able to adjust the truss rod and make sure your neck is flat before you start doing any leveling. So that's where this guy comes in. You put this on the fretboard, and the notches go over the frets. So you're measuring the fretboard, not the frets, okay? So this is a really cool thing because you can put this on your guitar and make sure that your fretboard is level, and then you level the frets to the fretboard, okay? Now, someone's gonna go, oh, I like a little bit of relief. But don't worry about it. You still, when you're leveling your frets, you don't want to build in relief with leveled frets. You want all your frets to be level, hence the word level. You can build in relief later on, okay? But so when you're doing any fret leveling, you're going to want to have a notched straight edge so that you can get everything right. The other thing that you're going to need to do any leveling is a beam. Now, this is a cool thing because it's called the fret bar. It's not cool because it's called that. This is a cool thing called the fret bar, and it's cool because it can go under strings and level fretboards. Okay, now imagine, if you will, you're just starting out and you're like, man, I gotta buy that crazy tool that holds everything at string tension without so I can do everything and level the frets. What if you didn't have to do that? What if you leveled the frets with the guitar strung up? So let's say, for the sake of conversation, someone brings in their, I don't know, Epiphone Les Paul, and they say, I think I've got some high frets. So you check with your fret rocker, and voila, you find a couple. Well, you don't want to do that without string tension. So you get the fret bar and you put some adhesive paper on this side, and you actually wedge this in between strings, and you can level the frets. These come in lots of different sizes. I like this size. This 8 or 9 inch. You can level the frets with under string tension. Okay, you don't have to simulate string tension. You can do it under string tension. So that's a cool thing. Then you pull all the strings off, you do your crowning, polishing, etc., and you're good to go. Okay. Let's say you find one fret that needs to be leveled. I like this guy. This is the StewMac fret kisser. Now, people have asked me, what's the difference between the fret rocker and the fret kisser? One gives you a kiss. Mwah. Actually, no. One just tells you when you have a high fret. The other, the fret kisser, actually removes material from the high fret. Now, what this is essentially the exact same thing as the fret rocker, but it's got little diamond files in the middle. So if you find a high fret, you don't want to grind everything down. You just want to grind that one down. And again, time is money when you got to get repair shop, right? So you just put this dude on there, and you don't have to hold your mouth like that. And you grind that one part of the fret down, and then you go through and polish and crown just that one fret, and then you charge somebody whatever you charge them. You make money, and they're happy, and you get to eat that night. All right, so the fret kisser is a great, great tool. Let's say somebody comes in and they say, I want 30 thousandths relief in my fretboard when I'm playing. That's when you got to have this guy. This is a fret action, string action gauge. What you do is you start with leveled frets, and you put this part here on a fret, and you put this part here on a fret, and if they're all level, you want this middle bit here to touch one of the frets, and you can adjust the truss rod until it reads, in the case of the example, 30 thousandths. Okay, this is a really, really cool tool. Okay, I set up all of our guitars to be dead level. If you like your guitars to be dead level, you're going to want one of these. If you're going to want 30 thousandths of an inch at the, 10th fret, you're going to want one of these. That way you can set it up and have it be exactly the same every time. Guys tell me this all the time, like, I can just see stuff, pushing frets. Bull crap. You can't, and you don't, and you say you do, but I know you don't. So you have to have some measuring tools, and you have to be able to use them, and they have to be good. Now, if you're willing to charge somebody for a setup, and all you're doing is eyeballing it, and they like it, cool. If you have a customer that has a very specific want, and they say, I want my guitar setup to be, I want all my frets to be level, and I want my guitar to be set up 30 thousandths of relief at the whatever fret, and I want my nut slot to be so that the first fret, the bottom of my D string is 10 thousandths from the top of my first fret, and I want my D string to be, 50 thousandths of an inch high at the from the bottom of my 12th fret to the bottom of, or the top of my 12th fret to the bottom of my D string. You're going to have some tools, and this is the biggest contention right here. And I say this all the time. This is the StewMac. What do they even call this? Nut slot gauge. And you guys knew I was going to talk about this. You have to have one of these. Like I say, if you set up stuff by eye and you're a shade tree guitar setter-upper, I don't care. That's cool. But if somebody comes in and says, I want something specific, and you go, I do it by eye, and you lie to them, then that's not cool. That sucks. And you are a turd if you do that. Okay, now I'm not saying that you have to have all these tools, but if you want to do things in a way that is repeatable and not just looking at it and guessing, I tell you what, bring me your guitar that you set up, and I'll measure it all, and then I'll give you one, and if you can set it up exactly the same, I'll buy you lunch. Okay? You have my word, but it's got to be exact. Now, you might not have a customer that is as particular as I am, but I'm very particular. And when it comes to taking people's money for something, I want to be able to hand them the best possible thing I can. Guys, I got news for you. This tool, this tool, this tool, and this tool will get you 80 to 90% of the same way that you can get with a plec machine. If you get good at it, you can do almost everything as well as a computer numerically controlled plec machine. Now, I'm not suggesting that the plec machine is not a cool tool. Don't think that I'm saying that. But I'm saying that actual measuring tools that actually read measurements, that are designed to read measurements, not feeler gauges. I know I've said it a million times, not feeler gauges, actual dial gauges that are spring loaded. That's the stuff you want, okay? Do it right the first time. These tools, remember, these tools all last forever. Okay, all right, you buy them once. If they break, StewMac will send you another one. I can't tell you how good of a deal that is because you ought to already know. All right, couple of things that I want to talk about that you should have in your toolkit that you don't have to buy at StewMac. One is this protractor here, okay? I don't use this all the time, but when I'm drawing stuff and laying stuff out, I like to be able to make a 90-degree line to my center line. Let's say somebody said, I want you to put a new, I want to put tremolo and where a hardtail bridge is on this new Strat that I bought. It's not a vintage one, it's a new one. And you go, okay, I got to line up my template. I need a center line and I need a 90-degree perpendicular end of my center line. Gotta have one of these things. A set of drill bits, just a simple set of drill bits. Always a good thing to have in your toolbox. Obviously, you're gonna need a drill, but you guys can imagine what a drill is, and I'm not gonna attempt to tell you what kind of drill you should have. All right, you buy your own drill and get whatever drill you like. Here's some other things that you should have: some wax for putting in screws. This is actually screw wax. You could just get a candle and use that, but having some wax for screws is a good thing. I like to have a couple of, this one is just a Phillips, this a P2 Phillips and a regular slotted screwdriver, or if you are, if you're from Amarillo, you call this a plus and a minus screwdriver. Really good to have just a fixed blade one. You know what I mean? You don't need to have the pull out ones. Just get one of these. They're easy. You can get them at Home Depot. Okay. Having a long Phillips head screwdriver for adjusting bridge saddles from great distances is a good thing to have. Get one of these. These are in every toolbox. A punch to punch where you're fixing to drill. There's two in here. Not because I think you need two, but because I bought a bunch of these little awls, and my friend Dave Chenzoff sent us these bigger punches. So there's two in the toolboxes. Thank you to Dave. And everyone who gets to use the tools in the toolbox will like those. Some kind of nut driver. This is a specific nut driver. It works with, I have a 10 millimeter socket on this nut driver because we use Hipshot tuners exclusively and they come with a 10 millimeter socket. So you just get this and it's good to go. Last but not least is just this little razor blade here. You can use this. I like these because you can break the end off and always have a sharp end for just cutting like tape and stuff like that. Like if you're doing here's when you would use this. You've got your tape on your fret slot and you need to cut the end, the opposite end of the tape. You got the factory edge up against the frets on one end and you go whoop, and you have to make that noise and trim off the rest of the tape on the other side, and that way you mask the fretboard and keep it looking good, because nothing would be as uncool as somebody bringing you their pride and joy instrument and you gouging up the fretboard because you are a gouger. So use some tape, okay? Finally, oh, come on, man. Get a toolbox to put all this stuff in. Finally, a little mat like this one. This one, again, is courtesy of my buddies at StewMac. I got this one free, okay? And you could have got it free too. They sometimes have deals where like if you buy $25 worth of stuff, you get a free t-shirt, or in this case, you get one of these little mats. And I really like this. This is a nice one because it sticks to the table, doesn't move around too much, keeps your guitar, keeps you from getting little bits of crap in finishes of people's, like I said, their pride and joy guitars. So, guys, I hope that you liked this, and I hope that you are on Stuart McDonald's website right now ordering a buttload of tools. Link in the description below to every tool that's in these toolboxes. And if you just want to use the StuMac link that I provided you, like I said, it doesn't cost you anything to use it. And any discount that you get, you still get. And any free crap that you get from StuMac, you still get. So there's no penalty at all for you using the StuMac affiliate link that I'm providing. If you have a StuMac account and you get like free shipping, you still get free shipping. There's no penalty at all. And like I said, I get a little taste. So I hope that this was very helpful and you guys got something out of this, because we're going to be doing more videos about stuff like this. Again, I can't spill the beans just yet, but I've got some big stuff coming that I think you guys are going to really enjoy, and I hope to partner with some of your friends at places like Stuart McDonald and Maximum Guitar Works and other places that we've been working with for a long time. So I know this was an in-depth, in-the-weeds video, feature-length video, but I think that it was a good thing to do. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Remember, I didn't come into your house and tell you you were doing it wrong. You came to my channel and told me that I was a jerk for telling you were doing it wrong. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. That's what I think. If you charge people money and do things the hacky way, I think that's a hack move. If you charge people money and they love it, cool. I don't know. Yeah, again, guys, I don't know. I don't know how to say it any other way. But if you want to do it right, you're gonna have to get some tools. All right. There you go. How about that? So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. By the way, all those people who tell me that I'm a jerk for calling them hacks, I don't see any of their videos. So I've been doing these videos for a long time. You guys know, and I put myself out there. I don't punch. I don't punch down unless somebody is doing something that I think is wrong. And I'm really not punching down at that point. I'm just calling people out, I guess. So yeah, I probably shouldn't do that, but I can't help it. So anyway, until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you, if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We will see you next time, guys. Have a great week, everybody.